Hello, this is the Art Life video blog. This is day 87. I'm Chuck Bloom, the artist this month.
My name is Jacob Wolf. Thank you, Chuck. This is really great.
Thanks, sure.
Chuck is a phenomenal artist. Your detail is outstanding.
Thanks.
I love it. My friend Omar, who I will be doing an interview with, introduced me to Chuck the other day at a gallery that we were at, and I was just completely blown away, really excited to do this interview, so here we are.
in my studio, my Cubby Hole studio.
This is his studio in his apartment, and a really lovely apartment.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is an art. You have to be an artist to live in this building.
Right.
So it's Everett Station. Yeah, it's a cool place. It's like, functional for artists.
Very much. And then, do each of the artists get storefronts? Is that how it works?
No, those are you rent them basically like these. They're almost the same thing, below. They're a little bit more because of the street level, because of the visibility and stuff. And those change. Some places have been here for quite a while. Other ones have changed, every couple of years or so. I opted out of one of those. I've debated back and forth because I didn't know. I'm still debating that. That might be something in the future.
For sure.
Yeah. I like to hide up here right now, so it's like...
So, where are you from?
I'm from a small town in Ohio called Bloomdale. Ironically, my last name's Bloom. I'm from Bloomdale, and there is some ancestry linked to some way back when. Some of the settlers of the town were, or some of my great-uncles, or great-great-uncles, I guess, were settlers there. But tiny, like 300 people. So small town.
What got you interested in art? Was it family, or?
My mom has always been an artist, ironically. I always was interested in art, my whole life. And as a kid, my mom was always painting, murals on the living room walls, on the bathroom. There was weird comics and lines and trees in the ceiling because it was a pretty, crappy house. It was pretty bad shape. But my mom tried to fix it up and
beautify
stuff, And it was interesting because I always grew up with that, the walls. We didn't have blue walls or white walls, or beige like that. There was always something on the wall, and even the kitchen cupboards and stuff like that. So I think that's a big. And then my dad was a huge reader, so my dad was always showing me my dad collected Frank Frazzetti calendars, and all this stuff, and he was always reading. So it was a combination of physical, actually seeing art, and then reading about things that were artistic too. So
was that science fiction?
Yeah, Isaac Asimov, tons of that. Isaac Asimov readers, and a lot of otherworldly type things. And then I was reading Carlos Castaneda, who was a very difficult, metaphysical read. But I was reading that when I was 12. Wow. so I still have those books. I never understood it then, but I read to try to understand. But some of the images I would take snippets and be like, oh, that's a really cool visual, and I would hold on to that visual. So
what kind of art did you start at a young age? Were you painting, drawing?
Drawing, yeah, drawing on everything. I was a pretty quiet kid. My brother was, way more active and doing, stuff like that. But I was a kind of a loner, kind of isolated. I would sit there. If I had a sketchbook, I would just go sit under a tree someplace, or I had a huge family. So I just had my brother. My mom's family had 18 brothers and sisters. So I had lots of cousins, and I didn't really, integrate so well. I would always just I'd be on the porch drawing or something. Everybody else would be screaming around, running around. And I was just drawing, in the sketchbook. So it was drawing.
Right on.
For sure.
Where did you go to college?
My undergraduate school was at Mount Union College, which I'm in an alumni show right now. I can't be there because I just didn't want to go back to Ohio. I've been back and forth.
Are you showing your newer stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually showing the Wanderer series, which kind of deconstructed houses on the spindly legs that are those are very textural and they're multimedia. So I'm showing those there right now, and it's a big difference from what they know me from when I was studying when I was in school.
Right on.
It looks, and there was a little video posted on YouTube of the show, and I think my stuff looks really strange and out of place, but that's all right.
What you said you were doing like minimalist abstract
Yeah,
art.
my work then was actually in undergrad. It was really huge pieces and very textural. So literally, I was mixing like things like plaster and sawdust and shredded styrofoam and expandable foam on canvas and smearing it on and chipping away at it. So I have these like semi-uniform but like a little bit irregular textural pieces, and then I do a lot of spilling, pouring paint, letting it dry into the recesses and the crevices, and then I would keep doing this till it was almost monochromatic, you know, like in just in very subtle changes, and they really looked more like topographical maps than anything else. You know, they look like slices, like aerial views of canyons and stuff, and then later, when I went to grad school, it became the school thought there was very abstract expressionist 1950s, so I had to adjust. The texture got removed, the canvases got larger until they were just subtle fields of color, almost minimal. Yeah.
How did you wind up in Portland?
I'm gonna move to Portland. I had friends when I lived in Ohio that used to come to Portland all the time and always bring me back little knickknacks from the Saturday market. Like, it's the coolest, artsiest town ever. You have to go there sometime. Never made it. And my partner and I moved to Portland, not to Portland, but to Maui, because we worked for Borders Books and Music at the time, and I was also running the local art gallery in the Borders stores, and went out there and was there for like almost 7 years, 6.5 years, and got a little island fever, I guess. It was the same. It was just monotonous, you know, day after day, always sunny, always nice. I know people are like, crazy. It was just warm and sunny and beautiful every day, but yeah, it was boring. And so we decided we needed to move and be back on the mainland, you know, as we call it, so we can be closer to things. And we just said, let's go to Portland. And I rented an apartment online. Never saw it, and moved here. We just moved here.
Right on. What kind of work are you doing now?
You know, now I'm kind of in this. I'm a little bit of an experimental growth stage right now. So I'm doing most of my work. What people know me for locally is this kind of surrealist work, super hyper detailed. A lot of my canvases.
This is a really, really, really small piece.
A teeny piece.
But just look at the detail in that. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what most people know me for. And most of my work is pretty small, but I've been actually working on some much larger work. Trying to keep the detail the same, you know, keep the momentum with that. That's what, you know, it's kind of my trademark part of it. But then I have this other series called Wanderers that are kind of... they're not tongues, they're just backgrounds. But they're walking these kind of spindly legs. They almost look, a lot of people think they look like Howl's Moving Castle type thing.
All right.
And I never really made that reference until I watched it. I'm like, I can kind of get that. So they're these structural, you know, these houses that move along spindly like spider legs and stuff. And that was like, went back to some old sketches. When I went back to visit my mom, I found all these books, these drawings of these weird houses with really long legs. And apparently, I used to be afraid to sleep in my room when I was a kid upstairs because there was a tree by my window that used to like just grate against. We had a metal roof, and I used to swear that there was some big house monster thing out there eating the tree, eating the leaves off the tree. And I used to draw these, and I'm like, I don't remember an episode of that at all, but there's drawings of them, so, you know, so I thought, this is really cool, you know, this is kind of like some kind of weird child subconscious thing, so I started using them again.
Wow.
So
you're in a few shows right now. You're in the one at your college.
Mm-hmm, in Mount Union. I'm in the alumni show there.
And then what else are you doing?
I'm at People's Art in Portland. I show there regularly. I have a big show coming up with Mark Woolley in November, which will be like 50 or 60 paintings, which is going to take me nonstop from now to get that ready. But that's going to be, I'm trying to really kind of blow the lid off things with that. It's going to be a lot more, branching out a little bit more into the metaphysical elements I'm trying to incorporate in my work. some big pieces, some really big pieces, though. People will be like, wow, I never knew you painted
Are
bigger
you
than that.
are you going for the same kind of detail that you do in your smaller pieces?
Yeah,
and your really
on the big
ones?
ones, they'll be the same. They'll be they take me a lot, so I'm gonna only manage to have like a couple that are that massive, that are gonna be that detailed. Right now it looks like the one of them's gonna be about 30 by 72 inches, which will be the largest painting I've done.
That's like 2.5 feet by, I don't even know,
4, 5 feet, 6 feet. Yeah, it's scary. It's big, it's scary, it's blank. Right now on my wall, so I go to the studio.
Blank
like,
canvas is
will
very
this
daunting.
really happen? But it will. I mean, but it's just that it's really intimidating to work that big. It's like, geez, this is like 80 paintings all in one. So.
Do you have like an idea in your head of what you're gonna do, or are you still trying to figure that out?
I have some ideas. I have like the sketchbook that I work in constantly. I mean, I draw every day, really. I mean, I think people say that a lot of times, an artist, but honestly, there's not a day that I'm not jotting in that sketchbook a note or a sketch or a little idea. So it's nonstop. All the time I draw, and I'll get a snippet of something, and then I'll look at it and write notes, and I'll look through it, and I'll be like, oh, I like this part, I like this part, and so it's really kind of like a, it's kind of this extension of all these ideas, kind of pieces of different ones, and so I'll try stuff like that. I try to actually come up with a basic concept, like initially at least, where I want major portions. If I want like this vast horizon or stuff, and so I'll have to make general ideas with that. But then as I'm working on it, the other things kind of creep in and other responses, and so I really let them be organic. It's probably the most surrealist thing is that it's really responding to like subconscious influences and ideas, and just be like, one day I'll go in the studio, I'm going to put this here for